idea so good.
I know. Can we change costumes?
Do you want me to wear furs?
I want you to wear a hazmat suit.
Fuck yes. Okay.
Okay.
We're seated.
So,
I just choking. Michelangelo.
set the scene. It's like
Michelangelo.
1501. Michelangelo, he's like, alright, I've been commissioned to sculpt David.
So
And
he gets a
he's
particular
like,
quarry.
He's like, I need a model. And so he's walking around Florence. He's like, I need someone with big hands. He's like,
What bigger?
hands that are huge. He runs into Joe Langdon.
Joe Langdon.
He's like, hey, Joe Langdon, maybe you know my work, the PA top. Joe Langdon's like, no.
I don't know it. Just tell me about it.
And then he's like,
Michael.
come back to my lair anyway. Be my model.
I'm about to sculpt something, and it's you, babe.
So he brings Joe Langdon back to his lair, and he's like, all right, so this is the David and Goliath scene, and you are David,
Right.
and you're
And
right.
I'm
right.
Goliath, so submit.
He's like, David, aka Joe, get contrapasta.
He's like,
What is like contrapasta? And then he's like, look to Rome.
look to Rome. And Joe's like,
Which
Joe,
way is Rome? He's like, which way is Rome?
classic joke. He's like, I don't know where Rome is.
He's like, I'm not really sure.
Wait, let me look though. Is it? I have my compass rose. Let me put my shit to Rome.
Michelangelo, not being well versed in people, he's like kind of
Obvious.
awkward, and then he's like,
A little socially
he
inept.
doesn't really know the art of like asking just anything, and he also has developed this infatuation with
So
Joe
he's like- so
over the
this is
past
what he says.
few hours. So he goes, Joe, take off your clothes and
Let me
show
see.
me your dick. And Joe was like, Joe was like wrestling with his logic.
He was like,
He was like,
Michael.
He's like, I heard in the Bible that David fights Goliath with no armor, but not Bucky naked.
Zapapow.
Not Bucky naked,
Zapapow.
showing his dick. Michelangelo pulls out of his pocket an owl and a walrus. Joe can't resist either.
He's like, I've seen a walrus, but I've never seen a walrus like this.
So he drops trowel, and then he gets real tense.
Joe Langdon doesn't know what to
He gets
do in this situation.
real tense, and then he's like, model. Cut. Welcome, Joe.
Thank you. That was awesome. Interestingly enough, I use the phrase drop trow in my story, so there you go. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for inviting me to read. This is excuse me, I've got a bit of a desert lung. Hold on. I think everybody's got a little bit right now. So this is a nonfiction story. I'm a little sorry to say. It doesn't have a title right now, so I'm thinking maybe if anybody has any ideas for a title, let me know. Because right now, the working title is just Poop Story. It's the odor that grabs my attention. You guys know where I'm going with this. It emanates like a physical presence. It's coming from the bathroom upstairs, the guest bathroom. It's where the litter box is. I figure her cat, has left a doozy. And, judging by a smell unblunted by kitty litter, I suspect she's left it right on the floor. She does that in times of distress. In her powerlessness, she resorts to the only method she has of asserting herself, of protesting her condition, like an infant or a prisoner. She doesn't do it maliciously, not on the carpet, not in your shoe, just next to the box, just so you have to pick it up. You have to take notice. It's her little way of saying, I'm alive, you sons of bitches. I'm alive. But I go upstairs only to discover that there is no poop on the floor, nor is there poop in the litter box. There is, however, poop in the toilet. A few malodorous chunks of swollen gray turd bobbing in the brackish water, swaddled in a healthy wad of Charmin Ultra. I know what you're thinking. You've probably heard about these cats who are trained to use the potty. I assure you, this is not one of these cats. Perching over an open bowl would be well beneath her dignity. Not to mention the question of how she would use the toilet paper. Therefore, I consider this presence curious. After all, no one else has been here that I know of. But no sense getting ahead of oneself. After all, I'm notoriously absent-minded. It's not uncommon for me to leave the house on some errand, realize I've forgotten to bring the object of said errand with me, and drive all the way back home, pop in, take a quick leak, then hit the road again without the object in question. So what I'm saying is, maybe it's mine, and I forgot. Except that I'm also one of these people who considers a number 2 a bit of a special occasion. It is my time apart. I like to get cozy, bring a little something to read. Is it really possible I just popped one out on autopilot? All right. Perhaps it's a leftover. Or maybe the toilet backed up and it re-emerged from the depths. Maybe that's a thing that can happen. I'm no expert on plumbing. But either way, we've been gone all summer. This thing appears structurally sound. The toilet paper is all in place. It seems like a fresh kill. It smells like it, too. Not a soul has been here for weeks, except for our friend who came over to take care of the cat. And I really don't imagine that she scooped out the kitty litter and felt inspired. Besides, I've been past this bathroom, in this bathroom, throughout the day. I'd have noticed a thing like that, right? I don't know. I shrug and turn back to my work. Mystery turd. What are you gonna do? But here's the thing. My work is moving out, or something closer to fleeing. My girlfriend and I broke up while we were away. I came home a day early to extricate myself from her life. Now she's due in from the airport very soon, and has every good reason to want me gone by the time she gets home. So what am I supposed to do? Leave a note that says, hey, hope you have a nice life. By the way, someone broke in and left you a present. I inch back to the bathroom door and peer in. The mind gurgles. I've heard about people doing things like this. At least it feels like the kind of thing I've heard about. Some freak breaking into homes like that just to unnerve people, to pop their illusion of security, a visceral form of exhibitionism, a particularly distressing way of saying, I can get to you. But does it stop there? Or is it more ominous? A prelude to something worse? A threat? Is it sexual in some way? An edgy kink? This is a rental property. Who knows how many keys are out there? Maybe the last tenant got kicked out during the recession and is back for revenge. Maybe it was that handyman who tried in vain to fix the AC. The guy who wore the baseball cap with the picture of the moose on it. He seemed like a nice guy. Maybe it's a message from the HOA about these violation letters we've been ignoring. This is Las Vegas, after all, a patchwork of gated communities. HOAs wield an alarming amount of power. There's no telling how they might exercise it. I begin to interrogate myself. Hadn't you, just before you left to drop off that last carload, heard a sound downstairs? You told yourself it was the cat, but that wasn't your first thought, was it? Wasn't your first thought, your thought unadulterated by the rationalizing mind, but it sounded like someone sneezing, like a man sneezing. And hasn't the cat been acting very strange? Pacing and mewing louder and more insistently than you've ever heard? You figured she knew you were leaving and was giving voice to her sorrow. Hubris. She was trying to warn you. There's a serial pooper afoot. He came in through the window. Why don't you listen to me, you son of a bitch? No, this is crazy. It has got to be mine. I've simply forgotten, that's all. To jog my memory, I do the only reasonable thing. I reenact the event. Saunter into the bathroom, take a seat on the toilet lid, look around. Is the view familiar? I reach back for the toilet paper, testing for any sign of recognition. The paper's on the wall behind the toilet, not next to it. You'd remember a thing like that, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? I put the screws to my memory. Do you recognize this latrine? None of it stacks up. Why would I use the guest bathroom, the one with the litter box? And if I had used this bathroom, what did I read? In our bathroom, her bathroom, I still have perched on the tank a book of basic chess openings I've been enjoying. I've begun to refer to my business with some glee as the Sicilian defense. It just has to be mine. The alternative is unthinkable. I fling open the toilet lid, drop trow, and sit down on the bowl, as if the minuscule change in elevation will make it all snap into place. That's when the smell hits me again. Of course I haven't flushed. How would the police be able to conduct their forensic investigation? I stand up and stare down into the bowl. I try to recall what I've eaten lately. And I ID the suspect. But no match. It's just gray and foul, and God, it really does smell ugly. There's no way around it. It isn't one of mine. No, sir, not one of my beauties. Feral senses quicken, detecting a hostile presence on my turf. At some point, I'd acquired a large Bowie knife, and with it some derision from the erstwhile better half. What would you ever need a knife for? Vindication, I think, as I dig it out of a box and brandish it before me. At this point, I should probably note that I'm generally a sane person. I'm not inclined to hysterics. I feel the blade was warranted, because a thief, even one with irritable bowels, can be reasoned with. But I find nothing missing. And if you're dealing with someone who breaks into your home, takes nothing, and leaves something, well, you'd better be prepared to take that fight right down to the bitter. I creep around the house, taking the corners wide, not leading with the knife like you see in horror flicks, where you can be easily disarmed, but with it held back like a scorpion's tail. Nasty little surprise. I search the whole house. Nothing's out of place. Well, except for everything. Boxes everywhere, haphazard furniture. The ordinary is abolished. Everything is out of it. I go outside, still armed, to peer at the windows and examine the bushes for snapped branches. It's just pretty easy to do because this is all in the middle of the afternoon. I think about going to the neighbors to ask if they'd noticed anything, but all I see in every direction are walls and drawn curtains. I start to curse this city and its blind isolation, this city whose gates make people prisoners behind their own walls, this city whose fear makes it vulnerable, this city that harbors and breeds the kind of people who would break into your house in broad daylight and take a dump in it just to make you feel even less safe, even less at home in this godforsaken place. Who in the hell would do such a thing? Honestly, though, it's probably just some alienated kid. Maybe he's frustrated and lonely. Maybe his parents don't pay any attention to him. Maybe this is just his misguided way of saying, I'm alive, you sons of bitches, I'm alive. Sure, that's it, right? But I'm not sure that helps things terribly much. Hey, hope you have a nice life. By the way, someone broke in and left you a present. But don't worry, it's probably just some sad, desperate kid with a penchant for breaking and defecating. A twisted little fucker for sure, but probably harmless, right? I tear back through the apartment, searching this time not for something missing, but for something added, anything that doesn't belong, any clue, any message. I open every cabinet and drawer in the entire goddamn place. I look in the dishwasher, the oven, the fridge, the microwave, the trash cans. I move heavy furniture. I end up back at the scene of the crime. On the counter, amidst the pile of plastic bags we used to clean the litter, I find an old receipt for a 5-pack of gum. It's her brand, all right, but look at the payment. MasterCard? She has a Visa. This is getting serious. But I still have no proof, nothing solid, so to speak. And time is running out. I stand over the bowl and leer at the fetid thing. I can't tell you what I expected to achieve, per se, but I poke the knife in, stir it around a little. And then I can't help but think what this will look like when she gets home. I don't even know what flight she's on. She could be here any minute. I promised I'd be gone already, that she wouldn't have to see me again, and yet here I am, just a guy with a knife, an unflushed toilet, and the most disturbing excuse of all time. It's time to turn the last stone. I call up the friend who had been feeding the cat while we were gone. I gloss over niceties and cut to the chase. Mary, I say, did you happen to use the facilities when you were here? She says, yes. Anticipating my drift, she adds quickly, but only number 1. I get that this is not an issue most people like to have to address, so I lay it out for her. Someone's used the bathroom, I say. It wasn't me. Shit. Yeah. She understands my predicament immediately, but she doesn't have any leads. That's it then. Nothing left but to sigh and break another promise. I punch out a text to my girlfriend, my ex, something on the order of, "Hi, sorry. I'm afraid I'm going to be here when you get in. I'm sorry. I can explain." And that's when it happens. As soon as I hit send, as soon as I formally enter the ranks of the crazy ex-boyfriends, I can explain. At that moment, the truth bubbles up from the briny depths, a truth so obvious that the only real mystery is why it was ever a mystery at all. Because the truth is that I, myself, no more than a couple of hours ago, scooped up some of the cat's disgruntled poop off the floor with a wad of toilet paper. Instead of putting it in a bag like I'm supposed to, just plunked it in the toilet. And I guess I forgot to flush. So, this is a strange feeling. Because it's quite strange to realize that for a solid chunk of time, you've been a genuine armed lunatic ransacking your ex-girlfriend's apartment. And the strangest thing is, it wasn't as if I'd forgotten about picking up after the cat, as if this memory reappeared. It was always right there in front of me. It was there in the course of events I ran over and over in my head, trying to piece together the crime. It was there in my psychological profiling of the perpetrator. It was there in my knife-wielding scouring of the house. It was there in my attempts to break in the back window, which I tried to do. And somehow, like a purloined letter, I just hadn't seen it. But there it was. I put down the knife. I flushed the toilet. It is perhaps worth noting that in addition to being absent-minded, I'm also one of these people who finds it difficult to cry. It's like insomnia. You want to do it, you need to do it, The conditions are perfect, but it doesn't happen, and you're left lying there feeling like you don't work in some fundamental way. All day I had been tearing apart a life piece by piece, carting it away in liquor boxes fished out of the dumpster, divvying up coffee mugs, weighing whether it'd be crueler to take souvenirs or to leave them, separating books that I had let become jumbled because I figured they'd never have to be unjumbled. And through it all, I hadn't loosed a tear. It wasn't that I didn't care. I just didn't realize what was happening. I couldn't see what was right in front of me, what I was doing with my own hands. So here I am, just a guy with a dirty knife and no more excuses. No longer the one to say, I'll be here when you get home. No longer the one to say, don't worry. No longer the one to sit up all night guarding your bathroom door with a Bowie knife. I can see that now. All it took was a little shorting out of rational thought. Maybe that was the only way I could get through to myself. Like my heart pooping on the floor, as if to say, you're alive, you son of a bitch, you're alive. Thank you.